Well, hello there, my friends. On today's show, another great recipe, a homemade cold brew coffee that you definitely don't want to miss. If you're a coffee lover, this is going to be a recipe for you, and it's super simple. That's going to be right here, right now on The Fear of Cooking. Cold brew coffee. That's what we're going to discuss today. Because you can go off and buy this stuff and pay $5 for a bottle of it, or with a few little tools and a couple little bits of information, you can make your own really easily and make it better than anything you'll get in a bottle at the store. So let's jump right in. All right, guys, so for today's project, you're going to need quite a few little items. One is going to be, you're going to need a couple of 3-liter bottles. You can go to any grocery store, hopefully, and find 3-liter, not 2-liter. You want 3-liter bottles, and we're going to get those ready to go. You'll need 2 paint stir sticks, a couple of rubber bands, a knife, a push pin, pair of scissors, some cheesecloth, and finally a pitcher. Now, I chose a glass pitcher, which I picked over at Target for like $12, $13. You can get whatever pitcher is not going to fall over and be nice and heavy for you, so you want to use a nice pitcher for that. So that's the hardware. So we'll get started on the actual assembly. So I showed you guys what the little different tools and supplies we're going to need to make this thing. And the reason why I'm doing this, you can buy online, look over here, the one from Amazon, which is like a Japanese cold brew machine, but they're $300. So why spend that kind of money on something that's going to take up a whole lot of space in your kitchen? It's going to cost you a fortune when you can just do what I'm going to show you here. So first off, we're going to start off with 2 3-liter bottles. You want to, right when it starts coming up, you want to cut that top part off. So take that off so you have 2 nice long containers like so. And do that to both of the bottles. On the first cap, you want to take the cap off. You want to take your pin and punch a hole right in the center of it. And believe me, that'll be enough. So you want a little tiny hole right in the center of this first cap. We're done with the pin. That can screw back onto the container and start prepping for the second container. The second container, you're going to take the cap off of this one, but this time you're going to grab your knife, get one of the little razor knives, and be very careful. Don't take off your finger doing this. You're going to want to come down and you want to put like a star pattern into the thing. So put a hole in the center and just start cutting all the way across. So you have like 5 or 6 little lines, and it should look something like that when you're done. So that's for the second container. Screw that back in nice and easily. So now we have both our containers. We have our pitcher ready. We have our rubber bands and our stirring sticks. So what I want you to do next, put your knife away after you get done, hopefully not taking your fingers off to get your caps prepared. So we're going to get a little bit of the cheesecloth, which you can pick up in any grocery store. And you want to cut, I'd say maybe about 3 inches wide, 3 or 4 inches wide of this. Just use your kitchen shears for that. And cut up a little piece of cheesecloth like so. You'll take this cheesecloth in the bottom, the one with all the cuts in it will be your bottom chamber. You'll take the cheesecloth and stuff that down inside, right there in the cap. We'll then mount this up here. Well, actually first, we're going to mount our rubber band. And we'll take one of the stirring sticks and another stirring stick. So this will act as a support for that bottom chamber. We'll grab our bottom chamber and slide that right in. Grab another rubber band, put that across there. You could grab 2 if you wanted to, just to kind of make sure everything stays put, but I think that'll probably work right there. So with this setup here, We now have the bottom chamber. This will obviously be the top chamber, which I'll show you how we're going to deal with that in a second. So we got our cheesecloth in there. That's all taken care of. You pretty much are at the halfway point here to making your own awesome cold brew coffee. Okay, now so we're going to go back and do the software part of the ingredients for this to make you the best cup of cold brew coffee you've ever had. Now I'm using our local store here has this Cafe Olé San Antonio blend of coffee, and this is the whole bean. I always grind my own coffee when I can. If you have a grinder, great. If you don't, you can still do this, but I think it tastes a little bit better if you grind your own coffee. So get a grinder. They're about 15 bucks. Get some whole bean. If you're going to do this, if you're going to grind the coffee, do an 8-second grind on it that gives you kind of a coarse grind. And that's what you need. And you also want to use a medium roast coffee. Do not use any dark roast or anything like that. You want a medium roast coffee to get the most robust flavor from this, this drink. So we've got our coffee here. And you're going to need 2 kinds of filters. You're going to need a standard little filters you get for your home coffee maker. And you're going to need one of the commercial size. You can see the difference here in the size of these two things. So you want commercial coffee filters and regular home coffee filters, and that will, you'll see why we need this in just a second. So with the coffee, you want to measure out 100 grams of coffee on a little scale. If you don't have a scale, they're super cheap. Just go pick one up. Measure out 100 grams of coffee. So with that, we'll take our cold press coffee machine here. We'll grab this and put that into the first chamber. So it should look like that. To kickstart the coffee and get it really rolling, what I like to do is take 125 grams of boiling water, we'll just pour that into the top. And that'll kind of kickstart the grounds a little bit and make the whole thing start rolling for us. So now we'll take our second coffee filter, we'll put that on the top, and just let that sit there. It'll act as a secondary filter. Now, if you don't trust the ice that comes out of your ice maker, I suggest either going and getting some bag ice, super cheap, and you'll get quite a few containers of cold brew out of this. So I use the ice we get from the store, which has already been purified. It's a whole lot better than the stuff that comes out of my tap anyway. So with that, we'll take our second chamber now. We'll put that inside the first one, like so. All you do from here is you grab 900 grams of ice, or I guess it's showing about 8 cups, about 8 cups of ice, and we'll pour this into the top. That is pretty much it. From here, set this aside somewhere. Maybe do it in the early evening, about 6 o'clock at night. And then by 6 in the morning, this whole thing will fill up with about a quart, maybe a little over a quart of cold brew coffee that you're ready to drink. You can put this in a mason jar, one of the large mason jars, and it will last up to a week, although it doesn't really last that long around here. It lasts about maybe a day or two. You can mix in different kinds. If you like drinking it just black, if you have a good quality coffee, it's going to be fantastic. If you want to sweeten it up a little bit, you can try using honey, or you could use agave syrup. You could try doing a simple syrup, because sugar is not going to dissolve in cold. All right, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have a bunch of little grains in the bottom, so it's better to have kind of a liquid sweetener. So if you pre-make some simple syrup, which is 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water, get that to a boil, and let that turn clear so it dissolves all the sugar crystals. Then let that cool down. You can put that in a bottle and have it ready to go whenever you need to have just a quick sweetener. I usually carry a little bit if I go out to restaurants that don't have sweet tea, so I can always sweeten my own tea the way I want to, instead of using that sugar substitute or the sugar packs they have on the table. So this will give you a fantastic cold brew. This whole setup will run you about 20 bucks. Now, if you don't have the scale and don't have a grinder and things like that, you might have those extra expenses. But for the actual unit here, there's about 20 bucks worth of materials in the entire build. So to me, that's cost effective. When you get done, you can pull these things out, clean everything out, store it wherever you want to store it, and bring it back out whenever you need it. But then you now have your own personal cold press coffee maker that has 2 ingredients, water and coffee. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little quick tutorial. Let me know if you tried this out and what you think of it. This is like my 8th batch so far, so this will be for tomorrow morning. So I've already got another batch in the fridge I'm going to drink up today. But ever since I discovered this little trick and learned how to do this, this is the only way I make my cold press coffee or cold brew coffee now. So I hope you guys like that. Until then, I'll see you soon.